What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Season 3, Episode 20 of Hit the Books podcast, all about sports betting, bets you should be taking, and everything surrounding sports. We're here for the wild card weekend in the NFL. 6 games this week for teams battling to get into that divisional round. 2 games on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, 1 on Monday. It's going to be an electric weekend here. Lots of action on each game, and we're excited for it. Lots of news out of the college football world, as well as the NHL and other power rankings that we have for this week. But let's jump right into this week's episode and introduce my co-hosts, Huff, Ace, and Mackie. Mackie, let's start off with you this week. What's happening, buddy? Nice to hear from you again this week.
Yes, regular season came and gone. I told you guys it would go by quick, and it definitely did. But looking forward to the wild card round. Cowboys sitting in a good spot, won their division, 2 seed, home 7.5 point favorites against the Packers. So I'm feeling good coming into the week. I know those Yinzers up there found a way into that playoff spot as well. You know, Mike Tomlin always figures it out. Patriots down year, but I'm sure they'll be back soon. They always have Bill Belichick in their back pocket. So. But other than that, just excited to get into this wild card round, excited to get into playoff football, and just get going.
Heck yeah, I'd love to hear from you. Like I said, Ace, let's send it over to you here this week. Number 2, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I mean, ready for some NFL playoffs here. Going to be some elite football. Nice to see the Josh Allen Bills get in. I know you guys were on the wrong side of that one, but it was a great game nonetheless. Tough week in Week 18. Probably shouldn't have touched it that much. I mean, that's a strange week with everybody sitting. A lot of different implications. Getting boned all over the place in that one. So crazy to see the Jaguars lose, but ready to get going and excited to talk another week here.
Good stuff, good stuff. Huff, finish it off for us here before we jump into the wild card weekend here. What do you got for us?
Yeah, obviously, like Mackie says, Steelers find a way to sneak in. Another week of watching the Steelers play football, see what they can do on Sunday. Tough matchup, biggest underdog of the weekend, but the way we like it, Mike Tomlin heading up as a road underdog. We'll take our chances as the Steelers find a way in. It's all you can ask for is a chance, and Steelers will get that on Sunday against a pretty elite matchup in Buffalo.
Heck yeah, lots of good stuff there, guys. Let's jump right into the NFL here this week. Like I said, it's wild card weekend. But here in Week 18, we had some different things happening. Starting off, the Tennessee Titans have fired head coach Mike Vrabel after 6 seasons with the team. Vrabel was released from the team after they stated they were looking to move him in a trade. However, they felt that would have taken too long. Vrabel will be one of the NFL's most sought-after free agent coaches in the 2024 offseason. Curious to hear what you guys think here coming out of Tennessee. Ace, why don't you get us cooking here?
I'll tell you what, I'm surprised to see them move on from such a good coach and Mike Vrabel, but I didn't know they want to hit the reset button down there in Tennessee. But Bill Belichick, a lot of rumors about him. So if there's one person that I would take besides Bill, it would be Mike Vrabel in New England. So I'm hoping that it ends up that way somehow. I mean, I would be fine to run it back with Bill, but imagine you put a full reset on, new front office, new coaching staff, let Vrabel bring in his guys, then you revamp that offense. They have some good pieces up there. I'd like to see that, but I think Vrabel will have a lot of suitors.
I think that would be great. I mean, New England obviously has had a great coach for the past 20 years, and it'd be great to have another great coach like Mike Vrabel coming in. I just don't think it's a situation that Mike Vrabel really wants to go into. He just kind of came from a situation just like that. They're in a tough division, even though Titans aren't really in a tough division. They're in a tough division up there in the AFC East. Playing from behind, he's gonna have to start from scratch almost. I think it would probably. I just think it's not really what he's looking for. But I mean, wherever Mike Vrabel goes, you're getting a good coach.
Do you think he's going to be a coordinator or a head coach? I feel like there'll be a lot of people that would be in the market for him.
They said Washington, Vegas, obviously your Patriots were up there, Atlanta now firing Arthur Smith. They're in the picture. There's a lot of teams. I definitely think I keep saying I think Atlanta's an enticing free agent market for a coach, quarterback. I think that's a good opportunity for a coach to slide in there. But we'll get into our next point, obviously about the Falcons before I kind of make the rest of my point.
Yeah, Atlanta Falcons have also fired their head coach, Arthur Smith, after 3 seasons with the team. Smith failed to get this team going with young superstars all over the field. Atlanta could be an enticing free agent opening for a coach this summer, like Huff said. The opportunity for a coach to come in, draft their quarterback in the first round, sign a veteran, lots of different moves that they could make. What do you guys think about these Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah, so that's like kind of what I was alluding to. I think this would be a good spot for if Vrabel is going to be looking for a head coach. Ace, obviously, you guys have a top 3 pick. I just don't think Atlanta's as far off as most people think. Kind of like Mackie said, they're in a bad division. They could easily step in and win that division next year if you come out and get a good young quarterback. We saw what the Texans did this year. Who's to say that couldn't be the Atlanta Falcons next year with guys like Bijan? We saw him have a huge game in Week 18. They just kind of underused him throughout the season. Drake London, Kyle Pitts started to come on towards the end of the season. I definitely think Atlanta is going to be one of the most sought after head coaching vacancies.
Especially
You
that
gotta think
division. The division's going to be wide open.
Exactly.
what are they gonna do though? I mean, you have Desmond Ritter, you have Taylor Heineke. I don't think either of them are a good
You have a
option.
quarterback.
Oh,
Wanna-
the new
Michael
coach,
Penix Jr. in
drafts a
Atlanta.
quarterback. Yeah, new coach is drafting a quarterback or signing someone for
Something like
sure.
that.
Hey,
Kirk Cousins,
Michael
you could even get a veteran stabilizer.
Kirk still got his job up in Minnesota. Josh ain't
Russ,
taking it.
No, but they might be moving on. Russ too. Yeah, Russ is going to be a big market. Huff, that was your prediction earlier this year too.
yeah, I would love to see Vrabel and Russ team up in Atlanta. I think that'd be cool. That'd be a cool matchup with all the guys like I just said, Bijan, and they got a good defense to go along with it.
Name a division with more question marks than the NFC South heading into the offseason.
Exactly. Like, just go there and take over. Like, if one of those NFC South teams would truly just like go all in on a rebuild and like say, fuck it, all right, next season, like the Atlanta Falcons would have did that this year and had a way better pick than try to be in that division race. They really could have put themselves in a better spot. But I think they're in a pretty good spot. They have a lot of young players. They got guys like Jesse Bates to go there. They still have Calais Campbell, I believe, down in there on the D line. They have pieces on that defense too. So I think this is a young team on the up and coming once they get the right head coach and a quarterback under center. Two huge ifs, but I definitely think it's going to be not as hard as it seems. I think that's a team that will fall into place pretty quick.
We got another head coach firing here. The Washington Commanders have fired their head coach, Ron Rivera. Rivera's time in Washington, he experienced 3 name changes, 2 ownerships, 3 starting quarterbacks, and a 26-49-1 record as head coach in Washington. So a pretty interesting roller coaster of a career there for sure. What do you guys think about this one? Ace, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, I mean, kind of reminds me of the way that Cam Newton's career kind of ended. It went downhill ever since that moment for both of them. But I think he'll rebound at least as a coordinator somewhere else. I don't know about you guys, but great move by Washington there. They have a lot of young pieces and couldn't really make anything of it. Had to end up selling so many of their top end picks. Got to get rid of that coach.
I think it's another team that has a bunch of nice pieces on offense. They're just a couple pieces away on defense. I think you go another season with Howell. I'm seeing here that they're projected to draft May or Jaden
like
Daniels
Howell.
with that number 2 pick.
You
I
have
kinda like
Sam
the idea
Howell.
to build around him.
You build around Sam Howell. He's shown signs of greatness left and right. He slings the football. He's confident in his game. You have a young quarterback like that on a terrible team. You got to stick with that guy and build around him. I know you just sold your defense, but build
He
that
kind of
line.
reminds me.
Get him
I don't know if this is a
protection.
good or a bad comparison, but he kind of reminds me of Baker when Baker was leading that Browns team. Like, he's not the best quarterback, but he's definitely not the worst.
Baker won a little more. I wouldn't.
He was
put
on a
him
way.
that
He was on a
high
better
just
roster.
yet.
But the big
Yeah.
arm aspect part of it, like he can
Yeah,
throw.
but
He's a little mobile.
Howell has his weapons. I mean, you have Robinson in the backfield who takes a lot of weight. You
Terry
obviously have Terry
McLaurin, John
McLaurin.
Dotson,
Yeah, you
Curtis
have
Samuel.
They have the offensive weapons there. It's just you got to build that line, that defense. Obviously, they sold their 2 best players. You got to completely rebuild that defense. Washington's not too far off either. I don't think Ron Rivera is the best coach. I don't think he's the best answer. I think that he's going to find himself in a coordinator job. I don't think he's going to find himself a head coaching spot with the way he's bounced around.
Coordinator
but-
job on a good team.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's still a valuable asset to a team. It's just I don't think he's the head coach any team is really looking for right now. But I don't think Washington's that many years out. I think Sam Howell could definitely be a thorn in the Cowboys' side for the next 10 years, to be honest.
In the Cowboys, I mean, the Redskins have been in the mix for a top end coach for a while now. I think they're finally going to land at least a decent name.
They should. They can definitely get something going over there with Sam Howell. I like Sam Howell. I'm big on him.
That'll be interesting to follow. There's a few more dominoes in the coaching puzzle to fall, though, I think.
Well, the big dog's got to make the moves first. So remember when KD was a free agent and everyone was just waiting for him to sign so everyone else could sign? Same thing.
That's about all we got here so far in the coaching world, but we'll definitely have more in the coming weeks. Let's jump into these power rankings here going into Wild Card Weekend. Number 5, the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 4, the Buffalo Bills. Number 3, the Dallas Cowboys. Number 2, the San Francisco 49ers. Coming in at number 1, the Baltimore Ravens. What are we thinking about this one here, boys? Again, coming into Wild Card Weekend here, our power rankings. What do you guys think?
What's crazy is I think this was I don't know the exact order, obviously. I don't think we had the Ravens at 1, but I think this was our preseason week 1 power rankings was these 5 teams, if I'm not correct, Mackie. I'll let you kind of take off, but I'm going to look up our week 1 rankings. I'm pretty sure these are the exact 5 teams we had coming into the year.
They were definitely something right around there. Definitely not in the right order, but Yeah, I like this ranking. I mean the Cowboys, Bills, you can interchange them. 1 and 2 is obviously 1 and 2. I think the Chiefs kind of slid their way in here just by other teams underperforming. I think you could have put the Browns here, but coming into the playoffs, I mean, those top 3 teams, I think those are definitely the scary teams you got to look out for. Those quarterback, or I wouldn't say Brock Purdy per se, but Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott are playing incredible football. You don't want to run into either one of them, and we know what the Niners can do, obviously, and they're running through San Francisco the entire playoffs. So definitely the top 3 teams to worry about, in my opinion. Ace, what do you think about this?
Also,
Yeah,
Mackie, real quick, let me cut in here. It was not the same 5 teams. Our week 1 was Chiefs, Eagles, Niners, Bengals, Ravens.
no way the Bills were in our top 5 coming into the season.
Yeah. I thought they were. I thought they
But
were
th-
the
they've-
favorite.
they've
We should have
been
known the Eagles
storming-
too.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was like, we're forgetting someone.
They've been storming back all year. The Bills. I mean, I've been high on them. I said a while ago. I said if they get into the playoffs, they could win the whole damn thing. I know it's the Bills, so when it comes to Super Bowl, they don't. But they've come and now they've taken the division. A great seed. They're in the 2 spot, right? That's
That was the main
nuts for a
thing.
Bills team.
That was
could
the
have been
main
out.
thing was getting that 2 seed because they were not a good road team. Them and Dallas are kind of the same teams. Play very good football at home,
Mhm.
not the best football. Very staggeredy football on the road. They both found a way to win their divisions. Obviously, we didn't expect either one of them to, but I would not be surprised if we see a Cowboys Bills matchup in the Super Bowl. This
Yeah,
year.
then somebody has to win, right?
Yeah, exactly. It'll probably be the Bills, but I don't know. I gained a lot of confidence with the Cowboys getting this 2 seed. I think that playing home until they got to go to San Francisco, obviously we're going to need something there, some fluke shit because San Francisco's a better team than us. If we're playing in San Francisco, no doubt. But I don't know. I think that we can definitely. I think that this is Dallas's best chance that I've been alive with. This is their best
This is your
chance at a Super
platform.
Bowl.
Let us hear it. Let us hear
Since
it.
I've been home, or since I've
It'll
been a
be
fan.
your platform to cry on too.
Yeah, it'll be my platform to cry on in about 2-3 weeks. But right now, I'm gonna say
Hopefully
this
it's
is their
not
best
one.
chance.
We know what it's
This-
like when the Green Bay Packers visit the Dallas Cowboys
and if we're
in the postseason.
if we're being honest, I think Dak Prescott deserves MVP as well. No
Okay,
discredit to Lamar Jackson.
okay.
You put up numbers to numbers. Dak Prescott is, and if you think about it, you take Lamar Jackson off the Baltimore Ravens, you take Dak Prescott off the Cowboys. Cowboys are 10 times worse than that Ravens team is. I think when it comes down to it, I think
Lamar on the Cowboys.
I don't think that would. I mean, what has Dak done? Like Dak has done things that like I don't think any other quarterback in the league could do this year.
Yeah, he lost to the Cardinals.
Yeah, that was week 3.
I'm trying to
Yep.
find this
I
stat.
don't know.
It's
I-
going to be a telling point.
I
No, but I
just
did have
don't-
a good question. I did have a good question about these points here. Our top 5. Which of these teams do you think falls first in the playoffs?
Of these top 5, which team loses first?
Yep. Mackey's like, oh man, is it the Cowboys?
No, it's not. I was gonna say the Chiefs get bounced first round, but the fact that it's
They're
negative
not.
9 degrees and they're playing the Dolphins at home, I don't think they're gonna lose. But I mean, the
I'd say
Chiefs are clearly the weakest team here. It's like not
Yeah.
even really close.
I'd say Chiefs or Buffalo just because the road's tougher in the AFC than people think.
It is.
It is. I mean, Cowboys they can run into Green Bay and then Tampa Bay before they have to see the Niners.
What if the
that's easy.
Cowboys have to play the Eagles in round 2 though?
I'd rather play the Eagles than Tampa Bay right now.
Oh no way.
Have you watched the last 6 weeks of Eagles
No,
football?
I know. Just the Eagles and the Cowboys in the playoffs.
Devontae Smith
give me the Bucks.
And we beat them 33-13 at home. They aren't a threat right now. They're clearly not. They're not. If they come out and they smoke the Bucks like they've been playing the first 11 weeks of the season, then you got to reevaluate. But that team right now, nobody's scared of. There's not one team that's scared of them right now.
No, agreed. Good points there, but I like this list heading in. Last question on my point for the power rankings heading into the playoffs. Which team do you think slots in at number 16 heading into the playoffs?
What do you mean?
Last worst team heading into the playoffs.
Well, isn't there 14 teams? So
16,
there's 14.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the NHL, NBA.
yeah, you're thinking NHL, NBA. I do the same thing. I mean,
I-
you gotta say the Steelers are the bottom
I was
ranked team,
gonna-
the biggest
I was
underdog.
gonna say the Steelers, yeah, probably the Steelers. Well, I don't think the biggest underdog aspect is the biggest part of it. I'd just say the Steelers are the weakest team in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I'd
guess
go
I agree.
Steelers.
Especially without TJ Watt. That's one.
Steelers, Packers, and you probably go Bucks, maybe.
Browns.
No, Browns are top 7.
They could lose to the Texans in the first round.
They could, yeah, but you don't
All right,
want
let's
to
get into these games. I'm excited to talk about them.
Alrighty, let's jump into these games here. Starting on Saturday, 4:30 p.m. We have the Browns and the Houston Texans in Houston. The Browns are the favorite, 2.5 points for them, minus 142 on the money line. Texans plus 120 on the money line. Total at 44.5. Trends I have here: Browns have played 9 straight road overs and covered 6 straight as the favorite. Over 7-1 in the past 8 Browns conference games. Texans 9-3 against the spread in their past 12 versus the Browns. And the Texans 10-4 against the spread in their last 14 as the underdog. Who wants to get us rolling here? Our first matchup here at Wild Card Weekend, 4:30 p.m. on Saturday. Mackie, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and take the Browns. I just said they're a top 7 team in the playoffs. I think that they're definitely one to reckon with. They have the best defense. Okay, maybe not. Maybe the Niners are the best defense in the playoffs, but definitely a top 2 defense in the playoffs. You're going up against a rookie quarterback. I know I faded him last week pretty heavy. I know he had a very good game, but definitely a different situation. You're going up against a top 2 defense, like I said. I think it's going to be close. I think Joe Flacco is going to ball out. What better story than Joe Flacco going to Cleveland and making a Super Bowl run, right? I wouldn't go that far just yet, but I think they get out of this wild card game. I think they're the better team overall. I know they're going on the road, but give me the Browns minus 2.5.
All right, yeah. So I saw a stat here that teams that missed the playoffs the previous year and win their division, so the Texans fit this, are not very good against the spread coming into this wild card round historically, as well as rookie quarterbacks, obviously, in the first round of the playoffs have not been too good. So I am going to go with the Browns here. I think Flacco stays hot. Excuse me, but I think the Browns stay hot. I think that defense gets the job done. I think they frustrate CJ Stroud. I think not having Tank Dell is going to obviously catch up to these Texans. Nico Collins has stepped in and been a really good option for CJ. We saw him go for that deep ball for the first touchdown against the Colts last week. I think the Browns are going to win it really close. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game too. Playoffs, you're not going to see CJ slinging those 65-yard routes. I think you're going to try to play a little bit safer if you're DeMeco Ryans. This Browns defense is pretty intimidating. We saw what they did to the Texans a couple of weeks ago, yet no CJ Stroud in that game. I am on the Browns here to go back to Houston and get the job done again. Give me the Browns minus 2.5 points.
Yeah, I figured you both would be on the Browns here, and good reason too. That defense is electric. Joe Flacco stepping in, playing the great game manager role, even inflating his stats a bit with that Amari Cooper connection. But for some reason, I just keep leaning to these Houston Texans, and I'll tell you why. It's because of CJ Stroud, the rookie of the year, who led his team to a division title in his first season. DeMeco Ryan, shout out to him too. But this is really the CJ Stroud point. I think he might be able to go on a little run of his own. I mean, it's not going to be pretty. He's going to have to lead some comeback drives, and he's got to be slinging the rock pretty often. But if he can get Woods, Collins, and Brown healthy, I'd like that they're at home too. Massive that this game isn't in Cleveland, or I think there's no shot that the Texans win this one. But I think it being away from Cleveland, not even the fact that it's at home, the fact that it's not on the road is the reason that the Texans can win. Because I don't think their home field advantage is too big, but I think there's value in them as they're going to be. What's the line on this game again?
2.5.
Yeah, so I like them to cover that. They're underdogs though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I like them on the money line here. Home dogs, as Huff likes to say, in a primetime slot. I'd say it's a primetime slot, right?
They're
I'm
all
going with the
primetime
Texans here,
slots.
and yeah, I mean, I guess you can say that. But I'm going with the Texans here as an upset. This is
It's
one of
going
my
to be a
favorite
really good
upsets in the
game.
first round.
I think it is. I mean, we could also see a game where Joe Flacco hasn't been balling like he used to. I don't think that's really a situation. But honestly, if you need CJ Stroud to have a game-winning drive, I wouldn't be too scared. I think that he can not easily. I think he can definitely get the job done. We've seen it
He's done it.
multiple times this year. I know it's playoffs, different scenario. You're playing against top 2 defense, but he's got it. He's definitely got it. Top 2 pick. He's been
It's
playing
not going to
like
be
it.
a crazy playoff atmosphere either. If they're in Cleveland, no shot CJ Stroud has a good game. He's in Houston. It's probably going to be kind of quiet. He's going to be able to do his thing.
Yeah, you could also see Joe Flacco just tear up this defense.
We'll see. Will Anderson going to have a big game.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be a lower scoring game than people think. I think it's gonna be a lot closer to the vest. I don't know. I'm sticking
2017.
to
Texans
like
defense gets lit up, no?
I'm
something
saying
tight.
2017 Texans. Yeah, their defense is light.
I like more of like a 23. We'll go 23, 16, 17, somewhere in there.
You guys are slamming that under?
Yeah, I
I
like.
think
the
it's a good
under.
line. I think it's a good line, 44. I don't know. I
like the
don't trust this Texans defense to
This is
hold
not
up
one of the
down
games
there.
I will be carding though. I like the Texans on the money line, but I'm not going to be carding this one. I like this night game a bit better.
Let's get into that.
Let's keep it moving here to the 8:15 matchup here on Saturday. The Miami Dolphins heading to Kansas City for this matchup. Chiefs the favorite here, 4 points for them, minus 225 on the money line. Dolphins money line at plus 188, the total at 44.5. Trends I have here, Dolphins 1-10 straight up in their last 11 games as the underdog. Chiefs 15-3 straight up in their last 18 conference games. The under is 17-4 in Kansas City's last 21 games at home. The Dolphins have only won one playoff game as a road underdog since 1980, that being at Seattle, January 9th in the year 2000. Temps expected to be near or at or below 0. I think Mackie said like -9. I saw like -1, -4. I saw it all over the place. Mackie, why don't you get us started here? What do you think about these Chiefs and these Dolphins?
I don't want to get us started. I just want to know if anybody knows about Mostert and Jalen Waddle.
They were limited in practice this week. At least Mostert was, and Achane was as well. I think they're both going to end up being a go. We'll see who actually gets the start. It'll probably be Achane, but let me get the latest news on Waddle too. He was also limited. The fact that they're getting early limited sessions in the week, I think they're both going to be good to go.
The running backs are more important than Jalen Waddle, in my opinion. But
Waddle frees up Hill more though.
Anything. Yeah, for sure. You're right.
But I think this is going to be a good matchup. Yeah, I think that the Kansas City Chiefs on the money line here. I know it's at minus 225. That's my favorite play here. The 4 is a tough number. If we could get that at 3 or lower, then I definitely feel confident playing it. I do think Travis Kelce finds the end zone in the playoff debut of this season. He's been very light. Maybe they've been saving him. I don't know if it seemed like that to you guys. The Patriots used to do that with Gronk a bit. You don't really give him those targets at the end of the season, especially an older guy. Then when it comes playoff time, you go back to the well as much as you can. I also think Rashee Rice is going to step up well. Maybe Jerick McKinnon if the game is somewhat close, which I see the Dolphins keeping a little close. But if the way the Chiefs can control this game, it's going to run through Pacheco. They're going to keep the ball on the ground, which is crazy to think about the Chiefs team. I think they're able to bounce the Dolphins here, and that Week 17 loss looms large for Miami, or Week 18.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't love the spot, but I kind of like the Dolphins with the points here. I think they're going to keep it close. Like you said, Mostert going to be limited, or he's limited in practice, looking like he's going to be a go. They look like a different team the past 2 weeks without him. I look for Mostert to come in and have a huge game, take some pressure off of Tua in that passing game. Tyreek, obviously, we know the former Chief. Everyone's expecting him to have a big game in his kind of revenge game. Everyone wants to call it back in Kansas City. I don't like it at all because they're missing so many guys on defense. They're like picking up free agents left and right. Just to think about that going against Mahomes makes me not confident in the kingdom. It's a tough spot. I don't know if I'm going to play it, but I'm on the Dolphins plus the 4 points.
Do you think there's any chance they win this game off?
Yeah, I think there is.
Yeah,
three drop balls by any Chiefs receiver. This is a Dolphins win.
Well, that's the thing. It's freezing cold. I mean, you're probably going to see broken plays left and right. But I like the under. I'm big on the under 44.5. It's freezing cold. Miami didn't put up points last week at home against Buffalo. I don't think they're going to be able to go on the road against Kansas City and be able to put up points. I know, obviously, we talk about Mostert and Jalen Waddle being out, but they're probably not going to be 100% either. And it's going to be freezing cold. Kansas City defense has been playing really well.
Chris Jones is going to be
rocking. I think it's going to basically just go around how Kansas City plays. I mean, their offense has not been playing too well. Their defense has been picking it up. I think that's how the game's going to go, and I think they're going to get the job done. 4.5 points might be a little too much. Could be on the foot of Bucker at the end of the game. But I mean, I don't think there's a scenario where Mahomes doesn't get the job done. I mean, he's been frustrated all year. He still found a way to figure out to win that division down there and get home field advantage in the playoffs for the first round at least. So he'll get the job done. The 4.5 is definitely sketchy, but I think the Chiefs move on.
Yeah, I think that Arrowhead's going to be rocky, and that's the point that gets the Chiefs across the finish line. McDaniel's going to have a tough spot to be. If they were in South Florida, I like their playoff chances a lot more, but they aren't, and they cost themselves big time. I don't see Tua doing much. Chris Jones, he's going to ride off that incentive. I think the Chiefs are going to get hot when it matters most. They have the best player in the league in Patrick Mahomes. That's why I've got him on the money line here. But we'll definitely have some prop plays there as well.
I think Tua has a really tough game.
Me too. 2 interceptions, I want to say. Maybe a fumble. Fumbles a lot.
Alrighty, good stuff there for Saturday in the wild card weekend. Time to move over to Sunday here. Starting at 1 p.m., the Steelers and the Bills in Buffalo. Bills are the favorite here, 10 points even here on FanDuel, minus 500 on the money line. Steelers money line at plus 385, the total at 36.5. The trends I have here, the under is 11-1 in Buffalo's last 12 games versus AFC North Division. The AFC North Division, the under is 11-2 in Pittsburgh's last 13 games versus the AFC East Division. Steelers 9-3 against the spread in their last 12 games on the road, as well as 5-1 against the spread in their last 6 games played in January. What are we thinking here, Huff? Why don't you get us started here for our 1 o'clock matchup on Sunday with your Steelers? What do you got?
Yeah, obviously the biggest underdog of the week. I'm obviously going to come in here and pick my team. I think the Steelers can keep it close. Mason's been hot. It's going to be definitely not easy. It's going to be ugly if the Steelers want to hang around in this one. It's also supposed to be freezing up in Buffalo. So I think that plays into, obviously the Buffalo Bills are used to that being their home stadium, but Steelers are used to all kinds of conditions. Come into this game, a 1 o'clock matchup. I don't love that. I would have liked the night game on Saturday, perhaps. A low total that tells me I like the Steelers with the points and I like the under. I think we're able to hang around in this game. 10 points. Don't be fucking surprised if Mike Tomlin wins this. I need it on the record here, but if they lose, it's okay. I'm calling a plus 385 money line. So don't go put your house on that one. But I like the Steelers with the points. I assume you guys are going to be on Buffalo for good reason. I mean, everyone else in America is too, so I don't blame you. So go ahead.
Yeah, Huff, the only way that the Steelers are able to win this game is if there's less than 37 points scored. 2017, that's the most that can be scored in this game for the Steelers to win. I think that's even generous. I think that
How many turnovers do you think Allen's going to have in this game? Because I
one.
watched him have two. I watched him throw two interceptions in the end zone in Miami on Sunday night.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But the
And they
loss of
still won the
TJ
football
Watt,
game.
we haven't talked about how massive that's going to be. Without TJ Watt, I feel like that takes a lot of wind out from the sails too. He's the driving force behind everything. Is Alex Highsmith going to be able to step up in that spot with nobody else around him to help out? Is the offense going to be able to do anything? Mason Rudolph in a tough environment on the road, cold. There's some snow probably. And you know that Bills Mafia is going to be rocking. I think the Bills circle the wagons here, and it's very similar to that game that you and Jesse went to live, which just Bills consistently. I think they put up 30 plus here, and the Bills and the Steelers are going to struggle to put up over 2 touchdowns.
I don't love this 10-point spread. It's a playoff game, way too high of a spread. The winds are going to be over 14 miles per hour. I saw it in games where it's like over 14 miles per hour. The under is 14, 2-1 in the playoffs, which is a crazy number. It's sitting at like 89%. But I'm gonna go with the under here, under 36.5. I think both offenses struggle in the cold weather. I know the Bills are home; they play really well at home, but it's the weather conditions just kind of outweigh it. Obviously, no TJ Watt, complete game changer for the Steelers. We know how much better they play with him. You're gonna see what's his name, Hightower,
Highsmith.
Highsmith. You're gonna see Highsmith get double teamed like Micah Parsons does every game, but maybe he'll get the calls. Micah doesn't get the calls, so that could be a difference maker as well. I don't see a scenario where the Steelers can come out and win this football game. I know Mason Rudolph, we've been writing him off the last 3 weeks. He's been lighting it up. This is a different scenario, obviously. I'm going to take the Bills to win the football game. I'm not going to take the 10 points, way too high, but I like the under 36.
Steelers have to hold the Bills below 17 points to win this football game, and I don't think that happens.
I think this game could end like 17-3, to be honest. I think it could be like something.
It's going to be a heavy dosage of Najee Harris and Jalen Warren, and that running back duo has been looking good ever since they added Warren to the mix. It's kind of sparked Najee too, but I feel like they're going to be stacking the box so much and daring Rudolph to throw. I still like a lot of Warren props, but I like the Bills to cover the number here.
How funny would it be if the Bills did all this work to get that 2 seed and then lost as 10-point favorites to the Pittsburgh Steelers
in like a 16-9 game or something like that?
It could happen. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Mike Tomlin and them boys. I'm telling
that place is going to be rocking, though. I have no confidence in Mason Rudolph.
We'll see. We know it's going to be rocking over there in Yinzerville.
Yeah, they'll be fired up. They can't get a home game for the rest of the year, though. No shot.
Well, we won't. We're the 7th seed.
It's impossible, literally.
Impossible. Literally impossible.
Alrighty, keep it moving here through Sunday. Next up, our 4:30 matchup. The Green Bay Packers heading into Dallas to visit the Cowboys. Cowboys the favorite here, 7.5 points. Their money line minus 375. The total 50.5. The trends I have here: Cowboys have won 16 straight at home, 12-4 against the spread in those 16. Over 12-1 in their past 13 meetings in Dallas. Packers are 9-2 straight up, 8-3 against the spread in their last 11 games against Dallas. Cowboys are 4-14 against the spread in their last 18 games played in January. What are we thinking here, Mackie, as we get into this 4:30 matchup on Sunday? Get us going.
Oh, what a record in January for those Cowboys. 16-0 at home in the last 2 seasons is absolutely insane, and there's no way that anybody could fade that. I don't care if it's the Cowboys in January. They are playing the Packers, who snuck their way in. Packers been playing really good football, but you know who got Offensive Player of the Week against this defense? Tommy DeVito. If you don't think Dak Prescott's going to walk in and throw for 5 touchdowns and 400 yards against this defense, you're absolutely out of your mind. I love this Packers team. I love Jordan Love. I'm the first one to say I hated him before the season. I was not high on him. He definitely proved me wrong. I like what they're doing with him. This is his first year starting. They have a lot to learn, this Packers team. They'll be there the next or for the years to come. But give me the Cowboys this week in a slaughter. They've done it all year against teams like this, 30, 40-point wins. I think they do it again here. And I think they cover the 7.5. I think they get take care of business and just move on. This is the year. I'm calling it. This is the year. They say that every year. I don't say that every year. This is the year.
Ace, you want to go?
Yeah, I can step in here. Mackey's very hyped up going into this one, and rightfully so. I mean, those Cowboys have been firing on all cylinders, but this is the inevitable for the Dallas Cowboys, right? The playoffs, being successful in the postseason, and here they are once again with the Green Bay Packers matched up. I saw something, I sent it to Mackey. Obviously, he was like, "Oh yeah," with the Des Bryant catch not happening against the Packers in years past. I think he brought up a toe tap as well. That's pretty legendary. So these two storied franchises have a great history that they've created, at least in our lifetime, in the playoffs. So I'm expecting some more dramatics here, but more so from the fashion of the Dallas Cowboys. I think they're able to cover the number, and I think they roll at home, like Mackie was saying. Jordan Love might be able to sling 2 touchdowns, but I'll tell you what, he's going to turn the ball over as well. Aaron Jones did look really good last week in their clinching game win, and he's an electric running back, but I think that the Cowboys just put up too big of numbers. That stadium will be rocking Jerry's World as we saw it in person this year. I think CeeDee Lamb will find the end zone. There's a chance that Jake Ferguson does too. And then, of course, Dowdle and Pollard will both get looks to get in there. I think it's 30 plus from the Cowboys here. Them and the Bills have the biggest weeks on offense in the league here and are both able to cover the number this week.
Yeah, I can't trust the Cowboys with the spread the first round of the playoffs. I didn't do it last year. They beat the Bucks, and that obviously good for them. They went on to do whatever last season. I do love one play in this game. It's the over 50.5. Cowboys have been obviously historically good at home this season, 8-0, scoring 37 points a game. But the Packers, on the other hand, also scoring a lot of points on the road. Like everyone says, their defense. Mackey loves to say their defense getting torn up by obviously anyone in the NFL, with DeVito getting the defense or offensive player of the week. Packers scoring 25 points a game. I'm taking the over 50.5 in this game. In a dome, I think both offenses have a day and both get up over. I mean, obviously, we all like the Cowboys to score a lot of points, but I definitely like the Packers to put up at least 17 to 24 points and compete with me for that over.
Yeah, I think this will be a
Dallas's defense has been shaky as it is anyway, so I do think the Packers get theirs as well. It's just keeping up with Dak. I mean, 7.5 might not even be enough just to keep up with him. There's not going to be many drives where he gets staggered or he can't figure out to get 10 yards and 3-4 downs. I mean, McCarthy's gonna trust him on 4th down in good territory as well. I can't see a scenario where this team doesn't roll.
Yeah, especially at home, game 1. The fact that they're able to get that home field advantage, Mackey, they're going to be rolling this week. CeeDee Lamb, I think you can slam all of his props. He's good for at least 1 or 2 this week. And when I release these daily fantasy lineups for the playoffs, I might have 88 and 4 in the lineup.
Lots of good stuff out of our 4:30 matchup here on Sunday of Wildcard Weekend. Jumping over to the 8 p.m. Sunday primetime matchup. The Los Angeles Rams heading to Detroit to visit the Lions here. The Lions, the favorite at home, with just by 3 points. Their money line minus 168. The Rams money line at plus 142, and the total at 51.5. No trends from me out of this one, but what do you guys got out of our Sunday Night Football matchup here this week?
Yeah, I also like this matchup, and I think a lot of people are kind of overlooking this whole Stafford coming back to Detroit narrative. What's going for the Rams? The Rams obviously are really good on offense with Puka and Kupp. Kyron Williams has become one of his own at the running back position for them, but I like Dan Campbell and these Lions at home in Detroit. I like the number minus the 3 points. I'm going to take the Lions here. I think that they've been really good at home. Obviously, we said no one knows Jared Goff better than McVay. These quarterbacks were obviously traded for each other. It's worked out pretty good for both teams. I am going to go with the Lions to cover the number. I think St. Brown is Laporta back. Do we know that?
I believe
they're
Laporta's
pushing
playing this week.
There's a very good chance he doesn't play, but they're really pushing for it.
Okay, yeah, I'm
Dan Campbell.
obviously betting on the Lions, hoping to get him back. I think Amon-Ra has a huge game in this one. I think Jahmyr Gibbs, the running backs, the Rams have been really good against the run. I just think the 2 running backs is going to get to them. I think the Lions are able to put up points at home, and I think they get it done.
Go for it, Matthew.
Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit for a
Yeah.
playoff game. You'll love to see it. It's almost a home game for Matt Stafford, so you got to be worried about this one here. You like almost every Detroit fan that I've ever talked to roots for Matt Stafford. So it's almost like, who are they rooting for in this game? You know what I mean? But this Rams team, I wouldn't count them out, but that defense, I just think they're gonna get lit up. That Detroit offense, with all the weapons they have, they're home. They've been putting up really good points at home. They have both running backs. Say one goes down, or even if one doesn't go down, you have dual threat. Obviously, you have Amon-Ra. If Laporta's going, you have Laporta. They have so many weapons. Jared Goff playing really well. I just think that defense needs to step up a bit. They're the better team in this situation. They get the home field advantage. I just wouldn't be surprised if they found a way to blow this game. They haven't won a playoff game since 1991, but this team has heart. Dan Campbell has a lot of heart. He gets this Lions team going. Best year they've had in a while. So I'm going to say they get the job done, but it's definitely a sketchy one. I'm going to stay away from it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm confident in the Los Angeles Rams this week. I'm high on what Sean McVay has done. Super Bowl champion coach. He's been there, I think, twice now. At least once, maybe. But he has Matthew Stafford, who won him the championship before. He has Puka Nacua, arguably an offensive rookie of the year candidate, and Cooper Kupp playing at a very high level. We saw Kyron Williams really burst onto the scene this year. He's like a top 5 running back as well, maybe top 3, depending on how you look at it. I love them being plus almost 150 this week. It's a great spot. I'm probably going to card this as well. I like them to go on the road. Matthew Stafford did not turn the ball over, maybe throw for 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams to have over 20 carries and go for over 100. Jared Goff is going to be having those tough turnovers that he always has in the big moments. I do think it's hard fought. It'll be a close one throughout. I think that the Lions will get theirs, but without Laporta or a limited Laporta, that's massive. I can't believe Dan Campbell played them last week. No confidence in their defense. Gibbs and Montgomery, they might both score, but anybody else is going to be tough. Amon-Ra will get a lot of catches, but I think that the Lions are going to be knocked out this week, get that 2 seed for no reason, and have to reset again next year and leave Detroit sad.
3 seed.
3 seed. My apologies. But I see all those clips of the Browns and the Lions fans going to the Super Bowl against each other in Vegas. I have both of them getting knocked out in the first round. Sorry to both those franchises. You finally got to the playoffs. I think you're both out. I like the other teams more.
They both could be 100%.
Very different takes, though. The Rams, I'm going with the veteran experience, the championship pedigree, the dual threat with a nice running back. And then on the other side, I'm going with the dynamic rookie with.
This is the same Rams team that everyone read off in the beginning of the season.
I know, especially me.
Well, obviously we didn't know the impact that Kyron Williams and Puka Nacua would end up having.
Puka Nacua is nuts. With Cooper Kupp, they have 2 Cooper Kupps now. They're both huge, run great routes, catch the ball.
I truly just think Dan Campbell's going to make 2 decisions in this game that you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like everyone expected in that Dallas game, they're going to go for it on a 4th and 5 or something where you're like, are they actually going to fucking go for this? It's like, oh no, they're just trying to get the defense to jump off sides.
No, they're going for it.
And it's like, no, they're going to get points on this drive.
They did it game 1 against the Kansas City Chiefs, remember? There's 4th and 3 in their own territory, and they got it.
Something like that's going to be the difference. He's not happy with just that division title. They're obviously going for it all for good reason. They have a good team, but home field, I think that they're going to make a couple he's going to make a couple calls in this game. It's going to be the difference.
Ace, that's why I didn't mind that call. I mean, 4th and 6, or for the 2-point conversion from the 6-yard line is a little tough, but he's been making calls like that the entire season. He's lived and died by it.
Week 1.
Yeah, exactly. He's lived and died by it the entire season. He got to a 12-5 record doing just that. You might as well just keep fucking doing it. You're not going to pussy out now. I mean, and then they ended up getting back to the 2-yard line, I think, and obviously they didn't get it and everything. But how much lives and dies by it. It's the kind of coach he is. I didn't mind the play. Everyone was calling him stupid. It's who he is. It happens.
Yeah, I respect him for it, definitely.
Fake field goal, fake punt, some crazy shit. He's gonna. You just know, or like even something basic, like I said, where you think they're just trying to draw the defense off sides, and it's like, no, they're gonna go for this.
What team's the better team on paper? I think it could be the Rams. Both defenses pretty light.
Way.
Yeah, no, it's a Lions.
No way.
I mean, those
absolutely not.
Without Laporta though.
Without Laporta, that doesn't matter.
I still think Gibbs, Montgomery, St. Brown,
and Amon-Ra.
Yeah, they're so good. But and then you add Laporta in. I mean, I also I'm
the Rams defense is also
Stafford, Nacua, Kupp, and Williams is great though.
I'm also not saying the Lions defense is stellar, but they're better than the Rams. The Rams defense is Swiss. Besides Aaron Donald, that team is
Aaron Donald.
The defense
you're
is
right. McVay's gonna have to cook up a gem, but I think he can. I have a lot of faith in that coach. love the value you're getting in this play too. For an
Yeah.
This is gonna be a
inexperienced
really
short
good game.
team.
I've also just been a Goff guy. I've just kind of supported him. I always think that he's a
Everyone,
little bit better.
In
everyone
crunch
read
time,
him
though, I
off.
don't know. I like Goff,
Every-
but not in crunch time.
I don't know, dude. He's been playing well. He's always been playing well. He made it to the
That's-
Super Bowl. Everyone forgets that he had an 11-1 start to a season. He beat the Chiefs 52-50 in Week 11. He was him. He was a very good quarterback, and everyone read him off when they traded him for Stafford.
When the,
Stafford went on and won a championship.
Go
Jared
out
Goff
and
is
prove
still
me in the
very good.
playoffs now. He has to
Yeah.
prove it to me in the playoffs.
Yep. Yep.
I'm going with Stafford though. I think Stafford's return is going to be electric. He might have a career game.
Listen, switch the quarterbacks back, and you're taking the Lions all day. But because I think Matthew Stafford is definitely the better
Nakua and
quarterback.
Cup are going to have great games though. I think you can take either their props and either of them to get in. Maybe both. You might as well ride both sets on the line.
Gonna be a good one for sure.
Yeah, this could be
Now
one
let's
of the
get into
most
the shit.
competitive games of the week.
Let's get into the shit game of the week.
Yeah, jumping over to Monday here, the primetime game on Monday night. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Eagles, the favorite here, just 3 points for them. Minus 158 on the money line. Bucks money line at plus 134 and the total at 43.5. No trends for me out of this Monday Night Football matchup, but Ace, get us started here on this game.
The ship sinks here for the Buccaneers. I know they're at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay, but I like the Philadelphia Eagles to go onto the road and have a stellar outing in the playoffs here. I expect them to have a lot of touchdowns this week, a big win, and I think they're able to strike some fear into Mackey and those Cowboys come next week. If the cards fall correctly, like I'm predicting, there can still be that Eagles-Niners NFC Championship. And I think it starts here with a big Eagles win in Tampa Bay. Huff, let me know what you're thinking about this one.
Yeah, I agree completely with everything you just said about this game. I think this is a big statement game for the Eagles. I think obviously last week, the past couple of weeks, they've been struggling. I know I'm more just going against kind of my gut and what I've seen this team do this year. We saw them start out at 10-1, and what they did recently reminds me of my Steelers back during that COVID year. The team that lost in the first round of the playoffs got actually trounced by the Cleveland Browns, but I think this is a good spot for the Eagles to get right. This Buccaneers defense isn't anything crazy. I think Jalen Hurts is able to get it going on the ground and extend these plays. Just kind of simplify things. Sirianni, we've heard his name to be on the hot seat. Like this team's in the playoffs in a wild card game. You know, I don't think they really hear that on the inside. They're playing for the team, the Eagles. They're obviously a really good team. Offensive line's going to be going. I think the Eagles cover the number. I like the over a little bit. I kind of think that it could be like a 31-14
Mike Evans
kind
will
of
get
game
in.
with the. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think it could be 31-14 Eagles.
Sirianni on the hot seat is crazy. I mean, I haven't heard that, but I don't think he should be in question getting out of there. But I don't know this Eagles team. I mean, let's go down this list real quick. Granted, they're probably all going to play, but you got to think all these guys are dealing with injuries. DeAndre Swift questionable. Devontae Smith.
Play.
Okay, I just said they're probably all going to play. But
I was
going
going
to
say, you don't even have to say it because they're all going to play.
Devontae Smith, questionable. Darius Slay, questionable. Jalen Hurts, questionable. A.J. Brown, questionable. Reed Blankenship, questionable. All of these guys are playing with serious injuries, and they're going into a game where they're 1-5 in their last 6. They're going on the road. They just lost a home game to the Arizona Cardinals, a home game where they were up by 2+ touchdowns, and they blew it to the worst team probably in the league. And this team, there's no way that you can have faith in this team going on the road. I don't care who they're playing. They just lost to the Arizona Cardinals at home with a full roster. They can go into anyone, and I'm not confident with them at all. With that being said, they could also come out and put up 35 points and shut me up right away. But there's no way that I could put money on that right now with the way this team's playing, with the momentum that everything's going. This Bucs team's playing good. Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield. Okay, last few weeks they actually haven't been playing that well, but they found a way to win the division.
They played well enough.
They played well enough. Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield getting the job done. What has Ace said about this defense the entire season? They have veteran caliber
pedigree.
It's championship built. They have veteran powerhouses on that defense. This is a team that can beat this Eagles team. I promise you they can. 3-point underdogs at home. I'm going to take the Bucs to get the job done. Wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles came out and smoked them, but the way things are going right now, this Eagles team is not even a playoff team, let alone winning a playoff game. They got to go on the road. I'm going to say they don't get the job done, and they got to restart and rebuild for next year.
This is going to be a battle in the trenches because that stout run defense from Tampa Bay versus the tush push and the Eagles ground and pound. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I was just going to say a Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown is automatic in this game.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think Dallas Goedert has a big game as well.
I don't see anything. I don't see this Eagles team doing anything.
I think they were saving the juice for the playoffs, Mackie.
Saving the juice. They just blew the division lead.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. They fumbled the bag in the Cardinals game for sure.
14. They were up 15 points against.
Yeah, I watched that game too. That was crazy.
I don't know. I just don't. I just think this team's in shambles. And the whole thing going on with Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. They're chirping each other. You saw Jalen Hurts' finger. You saw AJ Brown grabbing at his knee. There's just so much going on with the Eagles team. I think Jason Kelsey's ready to retire. Get him out of there.
Mackie does not want to see the Eagles around.
I would love to see the Eagles right now. But if they win this football game, I probably won't want to see them because then they'll prove everything I just said wrong.
We'll see.
It takes one win to get this team back. It's the
think
team
so,
that went
too.
to the Super
The
Bowl
Chiefs
last
and
year.
the
They win
Eagles,
one
if they
playoff
get
game,
one
they're back.
spark,
Why don't
Huff,
you
it's
talk
one
about the
play.
Bengals like
Huff,
that,
it's
Huff?
one play.
Why don't you talk about
What
that
do you mean
Bengals
the
team?
Bengals?
Right after they went to the Super Bowl, nobody was talking about this team. They're one play away. This Eagles
I was
team
betting
is-
on the Bengals a lot. What are you talking about?
Nobody was talking about the Bengals like that next best team.
I just think this Eagles
get
team has a
rid-
lot more heads on it.
The Eagles
than
team
that
is
Bengals team
talented.
did. Yeah, it's like
They're
the young. I mean, it's more like no one talks about their defense, but like Jalen Carter, defensive rookie of the year, having a hell of a season on the
Son
interior
Reddick,
defensive
Son
line.
Reddick is just an absolute dog.
Yeah, that's
dude.
what I'm saying. Like,
Mackie, you know what's going to be massive in this game is Baker Mayfield being loose with the football. If he throws multiple interceptions, there's no way they win.
it's
the game.
over. Yeah,
He's home though. He's in Raymond James. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
but
warm.
he's
not
just
in the link.
He's a
which is
gunslinger.
huge.
He's a
He's not in the
gunslinger.
link. He's
Yeah,
in the link this
quarterbacks-
game.
quarterbacks like Baker, it doesn't really matter where they're playing. It more just matters like kind of how the ball's
they're
being
thinking
thrown
that day.
Yeah, how the ball's flying that
Josh
day.
Allen, Baker Mayfield, wildest arms in the league. Sometimes Mahomes this year.
Yeah.
I expect
we'll
an
see.
efficient game from Jalen Hurts and the Eagles, though. Low
like
scoring. They're gonna dominate the clock.
Yeah, it's like when Josh Allen just like runs right into somebody instead of like running out of bounds. It's like, dude, just run out of bounds.
Yeah.
What's going on in your head, dude?
Yeah, you ever see those videos? It's like, what is going on in Josh Allen's head?
Not much. because he's
I
getting
always
hit
see
so much.
shit. It's like 3 random words, like mashed potatoes, and it's just like what
Yeah.
what goes on in Josh Allen's head.
Alrighty, I think that's everything we got in the NFL here this week. Wild Card Weekend, we're ready for it. Make sure to check out our live stream on Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll review all the games for Sunday, as well as our videos will release for the games on Saturday and the game on Monday. Let's shift our focus over to the NHL, starting off with our power rankings here. Coming in at number 5, the New York Rangers. Number 4, the Vancouver Canucks. Number 3, the Colorado Avalanche. Number 2, the Winnipeg Jets. And number 1, the Boston Bruins here. What do we like out of these power rankings here this week? Let me hear it, boys. What do you got?
I will say this: I had Winnipeg last night, Ace. I know you did too. They're really fucking good. Definitely the best team in the West right now for sure. Not even
You
arguing.
can bet on them every time Connor Hellebuyck starts, which is every game. He had a 30-save
Yeah.
shutout. He hasn't lost a game since November 30th. He has a sub 2 goals against. That guy's on pace for another Vezina right now, and he gets so many starts too. Without Kyle Connor, this Jets team too, their best player. Loaded.
What's the Perfetti? He took a late. He blocked a shot late
Cole
last
Perfetti?
night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's
he
a dog, dude.
Absolute garbage time. Dude just ripped the slap shot from Columbus, and I think he took it right either in the back of the shin guard or in the ankle. So I don't know if he's going to be out, but obviously this team's buzzing. They just have so much depth, like you said. Hellebuyck plays every game. A team right there, Colorado. They have a big game tonight. Vegas in Colorado, so I'm definitely excited to watch that one tonight. But
Talk about
Mackie,
Vegas.
your Rangers slip last 2 weeks
They're
ago.
still-
Ace,
they're
your
still
Bruins
deserving-
slipped
yeah, but the
before.
Bruins-
Yeah,
Which is
the-
crazy.
The Bruins,
that
the
they're-
Avs, and the Rangers all are good enough to be in that top spot. I think those are
I
the
think
top 3 teams in the league.
I no, see right now. I think the Jets are easily the best team in the league, but I think
I think the Jets are right now.
I think you can put any of these top 5 teams anywhere on this list right now.
Yeah. Especially
Maybe
the
not
Bruins
the
after
Rangers.
the Bruins.
maybe not the
The thing
Rangers.
is, we made this list a few days, like even if it was a day ago, but the Bruins lost like the
Back-to-back
last 2
games since
nights
we made this list.
in overtime.
Right,
but
right,
they're
right.
really banged up right now. That team's really banged up. I wouldn't be surprised to see
Yeah,
them
but you
slip a little
gotta.
bit.
But
gotta
they,
take
I was
that
gonna
into-
say
yeah,
they
you
should.
gotta take that into
If I can make
Yeah.
this list right now, I'd put Boston at 3 and slide Winnipeg and Colorado up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Rangers have
Colorado's
definitely been.
playing great.
Rangers have been playing some. They're not really bad hockey. They're
But
5
just
points
they're
in
not
their last
they're not
10.
playing the elite hockey they were playing before, like the Bruins.
Mackie,
they're
this is
not,
also a
they're not.
list we make once a week, and in that week they let Carolina and Vancouver come in and both put up 6 goals.
That's the thing is they went up. But you look at those games. You look at those shots against Vancouver. 42-26, we outshot them. I mean, that's just Shesterkin getting lit up. He's got to figure it out. The last 2 games, it hasn't been playing very well, but they're not getting the job done. They're also not scoring goals. 1 goal against Carolina at home. How are you going to beat that? Or how are you going to win a game with scoring 1 goal?
Not against Carolina.
They're not. They're not like they were the first 20 games in the season when they were 17-3 or whatever they were. They definitely got to pick it back up, figure things out. I would take probably at least 3 of those teams ahead of them. Over
Vancouver right now, dude, they're playing well, and they're still not getting respect on the books either. Consistently, they're underdogs on when you go look at them.
I think Vancouver's roster, top to bottom, is just
stacked. It's
Absolutely
talented.
incredible.
A lot of high skill players. Defensemen, I think, are overplaying their reach a bit because their depth defensemen aren't too great. And I don't know how well Demko will go. Will this hold all season long?
I think he's pretty good. Yeah,
I don't like that take.
You think
I think Demko will be a top 3 goaltender.
I've been big on him the last few years. I think he's elite too, but I don't know if he'll be able to keep the form that he's been playing in.
Well, if he keeps his team in front of him,
they're putting up big numbers too. They score a lot of goals.
I love Demko. Demko's been playing incredible. Hellbuck, obviously.
Is he American?
Incredible.
Yeah, second. Yes. The top 2 Americans both playing up in the middle of nowhere, Canada.
Yeah, Demko went to BC.
Yeah, he's good. I like.
I haven't watched I've been keeping up with Dallas too much. What's good with Ottinger? I feel like every time I look at Dallas, Wedgwood's been
he's
playing.
Still hurt.
He's
close. He's close to back though. He's close to back. I would expect him to bounce back. We've seen Matt Tkachuk. A lot of these superstar names just bounce back once they come off the shelf for a bit. They get that time off and they deal with what they're doing. You guys know we played hockey. Kind of nags at you. You got to take that time off and then you can get rolling.
Talk about Vegas falling off a little here though. It's 3-7 in their last 10. They were at the top of our power rankings for probably the first 6 weeks.
Really, since the Winter Classic.
I haven't seen them since. They've been definitely hitting a little stride here.
Meanwhile, the Seattle Kraken have been hot as fuck, and they're carrying us.
We were just riding the Seattle Kraken every night.
How were they underdogs last night?
I mean, their record, they've lost more games than they've won. So
the Sabres suck, though.
Yeah. You're in Buffalo.
That was so easy, and that Decord dude is on fire for Seattle.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, they're on a 7-game heater. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, that's a good team. We'll keep.
We've took them the last 3.
Well, yeah, we'll take that. We'll keep hitting that well while it's hot. But yeah, I think
who they got tomorrow. Because I'll definitely take them. Who they got? They're probably on an Eastern road trip, like Washington, one of the New York teams.
Washington, they got minus 115. Yeah, and Joey Decord's going again.
Yeah, give me Seattle. I'll take Seattle.
That might be on the card.
115.
Yeah, that's gonna be on the card again. Seattle money line. You're listening to it now. You still got time to lock
Still some
in.
teams that are floating around too. Just want to give a quick shout out before we get to the futures odds here. Just the Florida Panthers, the Carolina Hurricanes, the Dallas Stars. Those are 3 really good hockey teams that you don't want to see come down the stretch. I think they're going to catch some fire in the next couple months too. They'll go on one of their heaters.
Carolina for sure.
Hurricanes starting to scare me in that Metropolitan division. I know we got 5
Don't count out the New Jersey Devils too, Mackie. They're not that far behind.
They're fighting for a playoff spot.
Look at their record there, though. They're not out of it. They could get hot. That's a team that could get hot.
What, 21-15-2? What's so good about that?
They could get hot. They're not too far out of it, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've seen what they've been able to do, but I don't know. Was it a fluke year? What's going on with that Devils team?
Yeah,
Jack Hughes is still doing what he's doing. He's just not getting the help.
Yeah, and their goaltending.
Vanacek has been terrible. You got to run on Akira Schmid.
Weren't the Devils the Stanley Cup favorite coming into this year?
They were top 3.
They were the preseason Stanley Cup champions.
Is that not the biggest over-exaggeration in the past 10 years? Like, this team won 1 playoff series, 4-3, and then they got swept 4-0, and now they're a top 3 team because they have Jack Hughes.
Hey, another question though. Before we get to the odds, I know we're itching to do that, but just which team do you think are we more sleep on? I think I know your guys' answer, but Toronto or Tampa Bay, 2 teams that are always in the postseason race.
What do you mean? Who are we more sleeping on? Like, who do we think is worse?
Yeah, who's gonna miss the playoffs or get bounced early?
I think Tampa's reign is over for sure.
Dude, if it wasn't for Kucherov, I mean, you could say the same thing about Matthews and
Stammer,
Toronto, but
Kucherov and
if it wasn't for Samsonov and net, Toronto would be a top 2 team in the league right now.
Samsonov's back up. He's back up.
What, 3 games?
No, they just called him back up. I'm saying he's back with the team today.
He had like the highest goals expected against in the.
I got him in fantasy hockey. That's great.
It was crazy. Why would you pick him up in fantasy? He gets lit up like a Christmas.
It's a 14-team league, and you just gotta have. I didn't pick him up. I had him the whole year. Like I drafted him. He was my 3rd goalie.
If they had a competent goaltender, that's the top 2 team in the league.
Yeah, I don't know. Toronto, I think, is going to turn into the Tampa Bay of the future, but without the rings. The way they're setting up these contracts with that William Nylander deal the other day, that's crazy.
He deserves it. It was only 11 and a half years.
Mitch Marner's got to get paid too. You'd keep Nylander over Marner?
Yeah,
Right now,
I would.
yeah. Right now. The way he's
I
playing.
just think
I mean,
Nylander's like
you don't want to get rid of either one of them.
It's
Those
tough
three, I
to
think you
lose
just gotta
Marner,
hold
though.
on.
You think they're going to keep Marner?
Yeah, I mean, you got to hold on.
They
to
won't
those
be
three,
able to.
man.
No
You
way.
don't think so?
They don't have the money.
Who else they got to pay?
They already paid. Look at who they're already paying.
I
They
mean,
have big
obviously Matthews.
Weren't they
Tavares,
42
Matthews,
or something
Nylander.
that they paid.
Get the fuck rid of Tavares, man. Like, what? Just because he
That's
wanted to
what
come
they'll do.
home, you signed him to $12 million a year?
Yeah,
that's what they'll do.
that'll be interesting. But yeah, no, I think let's get into some of these futures odds here and take a look at what's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that we're about halfway through this year's NHL season, let's take a look at some of these odds coming out of the Eastern and Western Conferences and the Stanley Cup, excuse me. Starting off here with the Eastern Conference, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs leading the pack at plus 550, tied with the New York Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes and the Boston Bruins and the Florida Panthers, all at plus 550 here on FanDuel. I know you can definitely shop that around, but for information purposes, our top fives are always all plus 550 in the Eastern Conference. New Jersey Devils behind them at 6 at plus 700, and then a big jump to the Tampa Bay Lightning at plus 1,300, and the Pens behind them at 1,400, and then another big jump. What do you guys think here out of the Eastern Conference for that top 10?
Who wants to defend their team first? Out of you two, go ahead.
I'm not really going to sit here and defend
You
my
already
team
know
right
what we're
now.
gonna
I mean,
take in the East. I mean, what else are you gonna
I don't know.
say?
The East is wide open. I mean, anybody can win it.
You think it's that wide open? I don't think it's as open as you think it. All right, here's a
I mean,
good
I
one.
say the thing about the East is that those wild card teams that just sneak
can
in,
win
like
the whole
Florida
thing?
Panthers last year, can literally do it every single year. Say the Devils sneak in
The
late.
Philadelphia
again,
Flyers.
No, okay, relax. They're not going to get in at the end of the season, though. Like you're going to see, like maybe like, even like Toronto or not Toronto probably, but Tampa in that wild card. You're
Yeah.
going to tell me Tampa can't find a way to get to the Stanley Cup? I
Yeah,
just
you're
think
not
that
wrong.
it's such a different thing. Like it doesn't
The
even matter
Atlantic
at
is
the end of
deep.
the day.
The Metro is not deep. The depth of the Metro sucks. There's only 2 real teams in the Metro.
It's crazy
Carolina
how
and New York.
it's crazy how that just Metro was crazy the last 2 years. Now they're just
They're
like,
all relative. They're all relative, like competent, relevant. I mean, but they're not going to win the whole thing. The
Pittsburgh-
only ones that I can actually win the whole thing are the Rangers and the Hurricanes out of the Metro.
yeah, agreed. And the Devils, I think if they go on a run, but they don't have the goaltending.
No, but you would take 5 teams in the Atlantic before you took them. You take the Bruins, you take the Leafs, you take the Lightning, you take the Panthers.
Who else?
That's
it.
Yeah, you're right. 4, but still 4-2. That's a little
Still
balance.
6 teams. It's still 6 teams I'd take ahead of them. But I think there's literally 6 teams in the East that can find their way to the Cup.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm gonna go with the Rangers just because obviously
I'll go with the Bruins. Put on the
I'm
record.
gonna
Hoff,
support
give
my
us your
dogs.
pick.
Penguins
What?
gonna find a way to sneak in, and then they're gonna make.
I
that
mean, if
Cup
they
run?
find a way to sneak in, obviously my pick will change. If I had to take it right now, obviously they're not in the playoffs right now. So if it started today, I'm probably going to go with Carolina. I like Carolina's depth that they have. I feel like every fucking year they're supposed to do it till they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then we'll
Finals,
see. Yeah, then we'll see what happens there. But yeah, it's going to be tough to pick them to win the East when they get there every year and they just can't win it. But yeah, I'd go with Carolina. I think that team they're definitely pretty special. And I don't know, the Rangers, Bruins, your guys' teams are definitely legit. It's definitely going to be scary, but I would like to see a 650 or a little bit more of a drop on those Hurricanes. I definitely don't think that they should all be the same price.
Yeah, it's crazy how tight it is, but 3 good picks with the Bruins, Hurricanes, and Rangers. The West is much more open. I wanna get into some of those odds.
Yeah, jumping over to the Western Conference, Colorado Avalanche are the ones leading the board here, plus 370, followed by the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights, both at plus 500. The Oilers and the Kings at plus 600. The Jets at plus 1,000. Canucks at 1,100. And the Minnesota Wild at 2,500. What do you guys think about that? Those ones there.
The Jets at plus 1,000 is crazy. I
Give
know
me
they're on
the-
a hot streak right now, and I don't want to jump the gun on them to win the cup already. But I mean, for them, it's just the Oilers have a better odds than them, and they're sitting in the 7th spot in the wild card right now.
I was just going to say that, Mackie. Give me
The
the value
McDavid
on the
effect.
Jets.
The
I'm
only
gonna go
thing
with
is
the Dallas Stars. I'm gonna go with the Dallas Stars. That's my
Jets are
pick
just
there.
rolling right now, so we're jumping the gun 100%. But that roster, even so, top to bottom, I mean, I'll take them. They're guys that they'll throw the body around to make a play. I mean, those guys want it, and that mindset up there. I mean, Mark Scheifele leading the way. That team can definitely be.
With a good goalie too. Once they get Kyle Connor back, they're gonna be flying.
My other pick would definitely be Colorado, but that's not
Yeah,
exciting.
that's what
picking
I was gonna
favorites.
say, Huff, is how much longer can you sleep on Colorado until the ads get way too low? Because Nathan McKinnon's gonna put up a Hart Trophy campaign this year. He's on pace for his first one. And I just think they're gonna keep playing better and better, and they're gonna widen that gap. They might end with the most points in the league.
Yeah, I mean that's that we all made our East and West picks, so I mean that's my cup pick. We can read through these odds, but they're the favorite to win it. I got the Avalanche winning it. They're starting to catch fire at the right time. But let's read through these odds and see what else we got. I'm interested to see how these compare because I'm looking at it on MGM.
Avs at plus 750 here. And then we got a big tie for 1100. Stars, Bruins, Leafs, Knights, Oilers, Hurricanes, Rangers, all at 1100. Kings at 1200. Panthers 13. Devils 1500. Canucks 2200 to top out that like top 12.
Avalanche are the same, but I have the Rangers at plus 850, and then every team that you just said tied is all tied 11-1 for me too.
Interesting. Okay.
Canucks 22-1 is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I was saying that, Mackie. The
I
odds on
know-
the Canucks.
I know Darcy Kemper won a cup with the Avs, but Georgiev is not winning a cup. There's no way
No,
Georgiev.
I
is
agree
winning
with
a cup.
you. He's not the backstop that's gonna win the whole thing.
And the Avs were just so much better that year. I feel like there's too many good teams this year that can get it done.
They
McKinnon's
can
playing
get there and
better
lose.
hockey.
I like them to win the West more than I like them to win the Cup. I think that's a lot easier. I think everybody would like that better too. But I just don't think there's a chance that he wins. It's a great point, Mackie, and I agree with you completely.
Yeah, man.
Georgiev.
I just think this plus, with a goalie like that, I don't think so. But Canucks at plus 2200. I think there's great value on that. We were talking about the roster top to bottom. They have the goaltending as well. It's good odds on them. They're gonna get a good spot in the playoffs if they keep playing like this. More than halfway into the season by now, right?
Yeah, I like the. I mean, there's you could say you like the value in any of these teams when they're all that close, but I'm gonna go with. I kind of like what Ace said. I like the Avalanche to win the West a little bit more than obviously to win the whole thing based on the goalies and like you said, they definitely were a better team a couple of years ago. So I'll go Carolina versus Colorado just for a pick.
I like that. Two powerhouse teams that could definitely get there. You got to see Carolina get over
I'm
that
going with
hump.
Bruins.
Yeah, and I just have to pick an
Boston
Eastern
Bruins.
Conference team that's not either of yours because I know who both of your picks are going to be.
The
Not that I
Bruins
don't think
over
they
the
can do it. I
Stars
just
in the
truly
Cup.
think
Right.
who do you think? Okay, so who do you think of the Eastern Conference teams that everyone keeps hyping up over the past 5 so years? Who do you think will do it first, the Canes or the Leafs?
Canes.
Leafs.
Ooh,
Canes-
embrace
Canes-
debate. Let's go. Why?
Canes will not get a cup. I don't think they will get a cup in this reign that they have right now with like Svechnikov.
All right,
They will not
all
get
right.
a cup.
They're set up better for the
Backtrack.
future.
Win the East. Win the East. They both just got to get to the cup. Who gets to the cup first?
The
No,
Leafs.
Canes don't get there. Canes get to the cup, they'll win it. They're not going to get to the cup.
The Canes will get to the Cup and win. Exactly. I like that point. The Leafs will get to the Cup and lose because of the Heartbreak City.
No,
I think
Leafs-
they'll get there first, and then their window is much smaller. That's a small window for these Leafs. I think they're
Heartbreak City.
Why?
because they're
Where's the
they're
small
gonna have
window?
No
Matthews is like
salary cap.
27.
They have no salary cap to build around them. There's no depth, no goaltending, no defensive players. They're going to spend it all on guys that can put the puck in the net, but nobody that can keep it out, nobody that can lay a physical hit or play playoff hockey.
You act like all these teams aren't dishing out $12 million contracts left and right. The Bruins
But
are
not
paying
that
people
many.
too. Bruins have three $12 million players too.
No, not that high.
How much does Brad Marchand make?
Brad Marchand does not make a lot of money.
He's got to make
What's
at least $9,
McAvoy
$10 million.
They all make below $10 million.
No way Pasta's making under $10 million.
Pasta's the only one that gets paid. Hampus Lindholm has a pretty big contract. McAvoy does too, but they're not super high.
Pasta's 11.25. McAvoy's 9.5.
So
Yeah,
20
it's
million
right
between
there.
them two.
It's right there.
You're right, Ace. I'm not.
Yeah,
No,
but
I
they're
mean
not-
$10
they're not
million
paying-
is a shit ton of money.
No,
That's a huge
that's
contract.
no,
in
Mackie.
the NHL.
Think about the difference
Closest
though.
is
They're
like
playing.
6.
They're playing 3 guys like $12 million. That's more. That's $3 million more. That's $3 million is massive in the NHL. Like 3 guys at 12, 24, 36.
11.5.
That's a lot
Nylander
though.
just made 11.5.
3 guys at that price is very expensive. It's tough to build depth. Look at the Bruins. They're scraping for depth. They're just lucky that some of these young guys panned out quick.
Yeah, what about like Matty Nice? Matty Nice is probably on a rookie contract still.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think they need to start in the back end, and their goaltending issues are so massive. You talk about goaltending with the Colorado Avalanche. You think there's a way that the Toronto Maple Leafs can win when they have guys like Ilya Samsonov tending the crease?
Oh, I don't think they're going to win it this year. I'm just saying they win it before the Canes do. Also, the Canes, I mean, how big is their window as well? I mean,
They're
What
young.
they gotta
Up
pay
front.
him.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
what it all comes back
I don't
to.
think they have guys. I think they have more depth. They're not going to be as expensive as those. The Toronto Maple Leafs just have expensive players. They have like those top end expensive guys. They're not going to be able to keep it all together.
Who goes further this year?
They
Ooh,
both get
the
bounced in the second
Canes.
round.
The Canes. You think the Leafs can get through to the second round? I don't think so.
Yeah, they gotta wait now. What is that? 25 years in the second round, and then they can go to the third round.
They don't have any goaltending. That's a good point, though, Mackie. The no goaltending though in Toronto scares me a lot.
Well, they can make a move though. You never know. I mean, you're not gonna roll with Samsonov into the playoffs. He's fucking terrible.
Watch him turn up after being designated for assignment and not claimed off waivers.
They should go out and get quick. To be honest,
Yeah, you think the Rangers are doing that? No shot.
Yeah, you guys.
You think
need
anybody's
to
dealing the
You can get
Leafs a good
enough.
goalie? You might get
I don't
Jacob
know,
Markstrom
man.
at best.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. This Leafs team, though, you can't count them out.
just because of 34, he can score a hat trick any game.
Give him 10 minutes, he can have a hat trick. I mean, the
Yeah,
things he
dude.
does is just insane.
Alrighty, shifting our focus over to the NBA now with our power rankings to get us rolling here. Number 5, the Denver Nuggets. Number 4, the Milwaukee Bucks. Number 3, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Number 2, the Minnesota Timberwolves. And number 1, the Boston Celtics. What do you guys think about this one here coming into this week for the NBA?
Thunder are officially legit. They just continue to win games. Ace, your Celtics could just continue to sit up top there, and the Timberwolves, we've gassed them up enough. But the Thunder, we had them in that 5 slot the past couple of weeks, officially passing up 2 teams that have won the finals in the past 5 years, and the Bucks and the Nuggets. Nuggets, the defending champs. Thunder look really good as a young team. Shy, MVP candidate, obviously, and then you have Chet as a Rookie of the Year candidate. I think that'd be the first time in like 30 something years they said
I think it was
that an
longer.
MVP and yeah, it was some
I think it
crazy
was like
stat.
60, to be honest.
It might have been. I was gonna say you might be closer
was-
than I was.
it
For
was
an
because-
MVP and a Rookie of the Year.
I think it was 1969 Lakers with
Oh, like Jerry West, then
I was thinking Magic.
could be
Hold on, keep
Kareem
talking.
and
I'll look it
Magic?
up.
Yeah, but like
I
a
bet
lot,
it-
Huff,
probably-
you're right. Though we talked about a lot about those top 5 teams, and they're all really good. I like to touch on some of those teams that are just missing. Any that come to mind for you?
I guess the team that we just bounced, but it's mainly just because they keep losing games. Is Philly? Obviously, they're dealing with some injuries right now, but I'm big on that Sixers team. I think they're definitely still right there as that 6th team right now. Kings are a fun team right
I'm
now.
a big
too, out
Sacramento
west.
guy with Darren Fox.
I don't watch
That's
too
what I was
many
gonna
of their
say.
games because they're so late, but the Aaron Fox, Sabonis, Sacramento Kings are electric, and I think they're going to make a run in the West this year.
What
as
did they
well.
finish at last year? They were like a top 3 seed, weren't they? In the
3rd
West.
seed. They got the Warriors in the first round.
Yeah, but I think they were young. They already got their taste. They're going to bring it back with a vengeance this year
Who,
with
the
everybody
Kings?
healthy
Beam.
now. Yeah,
I
I'm big
hate
on
the
Fox.
Kings, dude. And they're very good. I'm not going to say they're not. Sabonis is absolutely insane addition. I know they got rid of Halliburton for it, but adding
It
Sabonis
was
to
a
that
win-win
team-
for both teams.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
but I think you should have got rid of De'Aaron Fox. You could have got more for De'Aaron Fox too. Obviously, they wouldn't have seen how Tyrese is going to pan out, but getting rid of him was crazy.
They made they were a 3 seed last year. I think it's a win-win.
And De'Aaron Fox fits well with
And the
them.
gotta
Pacers
win.
got their
They gotta
in-season
win, though.
tournament
They got to win.
Yeah, that was their first taste, though.
against the Warriors too. They won that first round, right?
Warriors
Think
won.
so.
Lakers beat the Grizz as well.
I don't think that the Suns. I don't know if they're going to be able to turn it on. They've been playing.
I'm
with
not
like
even
3
scared of
big
Phoenix.
superstars.
I would not even be scared of Phoenix.
No, I don't even know if
Is
they're
that team? Does that not remind you just like of what they did in Brooklyn? Is that team ever
Yeah.
going to all play together?
No. But what about the LA Clippers? That's something to talk about even more because they've
I
added
said
all
them
the
a
old
couple.
guys.
Yeah,
They added
Paul
all the old
George
guys,
is
and they're
allergic
playing
to
well.
the NBA Finals.
Yeah, but they're playing well though.
Yeah, I mean, any team that has Kawhi on it, I think is an NBA is a championship contender. We saw it with
3-year
Toronto. Obviously,
3
that
year,
was a down.
$150 million extension today for him.
Yeah, $51 million annually. A calm $51 million a year for Kawhi. Maybe he could play 45 games this year instead of 35. But obviously, whenever you have Kawhi Leonard, your team is a contender. His Clippers team just hasn't
Harden,
found the
Russell
role players
Westbrook,
around
Paul
it, though.
George,
Their bench is good.
Ivica
You got-
Zubac.
they haven't found the combination yet. They had it that one year with the Mavs when they were up 3-1. They blew a 3-1 lead.
But they're
They
gelling a
look
bit.
good.
They're gelling a bit. They look good lately.
I think they look better. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're playing very good basketball. But three years ago, I mean, I would have taken that team over
Yeah.
then over this team now.
But this
But, I
team
mean-
has the potential with all those superstars.
for sure, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't count that Clippers team out, but like I said, Paul George is allergic to the NBA Finals.
If you
I
would
don't
have
think
asked
he'll
me,
figure it out.
if you would have asked me which team was going to be more dysfunctional, like out of these super teams, the Suns or the Clippers, I definitely would have said the Clippers with Harden and Kawhi.
Yeah.
And it just looks like the Suns are never going to get it going.
The other team out west that I think is doing pretty well, I think the Dallas Mavericks. Can't really sleep on them. Luka Doncic is just a dog, and Kyrie Irving playing good basketball as well.
Are the Timberwolves just another Memphis Grizzlies, or are they going to
Yes.
be contenders?
No,
I don't
first
know,
They'll
round
lose
man.
in the
exit.
first round.
I
No,
feel like
I don't know. I don't know if they'll lose in the first round. They'll when they run into one of those real contenders in the West, we'll see. And I think it'll be a 5-6 game series. They'll lose.
Nuggets still got to be the favorite in the West, right? But yeah, OKC got shy playing at MVP level, top 3 player in the league this year. Everyone kind of wrote off Chet for Rookie of the Year with Wemby coming in, but I mean, I said before the season his
Such a
odds
better
probably pretty
team.
good.
Like
Yeah, he
he's
has a
in such
better
a
chance
better
to
team. Yeah.
strive. He can win more than 3 games in a season, and he's putting up the numbers. So I think
When Wemby has a big night, it's like whenever you see Shohei have a big night for the Angels, it's like Wemby goes for 34, 12, and 4, and the Spurs lose by 46 to the
what was it?
Pistons. Like,
What was it? Mike Trout has 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, and Shohei Ohtani pitches 7 innings with 2 home runs, and the Angels
like the
lose
t-
11-7.
yeah, I like the tweet where it's like Mike Trout hits 4 home runs, Shohei Ohtani's done something that hasn't been done since 1868, and the Angels lose 8-2.
Yeah. It's crazy, yeah, but this is kind of it's kind of the same situation. Because
Free
the
baseball
Spurs have
plug. I'm excited for
absolutely
baseball season.
no, I
They'll
don't want to
get,
get
they'll
too
get a nice
excited
pick.
yet.
There's Mackie. There's so many guys. There's so many guys they could take number 1 overall in this draft coming up. I mean,
Who
obviously, who knows like who goes, but like I don't know.
you talking about? Spurs?
Yeah, there's gonna be this NBA draft's gonna be loaded.
Yeah, for sure. But then again, you never know. With NIL, bro, people play 4 years of college now like it's nothing. They don't even there's no rush to get to the league anymore.
Yeah, they'd rather be the big dog on college campus.
Yeah,
which,
you're
I mean, I
making
can't blame 'em.
$7 million in college, and you can do whatever
I
you
can't
want.
blame them.
Yeah.
Another point here out of the NBA. Grizzlies superstar John Morant will undergo season-ending surgery for a torn labrum. Morant missed the first 25 games of this season with a suspension and now is out with this injury. So hopefully the best for him out of this surgery. Hopefully we hear good things. Any word on that? Any thoughts?
Grizzlies are done. I mean, they weren't good to start the year without him. They're definitely looking for next year already. They brought in guys like Ace's Boston Celtic Marcus Smart to come down there and fill that role of just kind of a pesky player when they lost Dylan Brooks. Not saying that they're kind of similar, but just that gritty defensive style. But yeah, this Grizzlies team, they're definitely looking to next year already without Morant.
Good stuff there. Let's shift our focus over to the college football world here. Michigan defeated Washington 34-13 in the national championship, securing Michigan's first national title since 1997. Head coach Jim Harbaugh's name has been floating around the rumor mill to make his leap back to the NFL as a head coach. What are you guys thinking on that? What are you thinking on this national championship? Pretty interesting game there by Michigan. What do you think, Mackie?
Yeah, Huff was on the right side of this one. I will say I was not. I rode Washington the entire season. I was not going to stop in the national championship game. But that Michigan defense, not even I wouldn't even really say the defense, but like that I guess they were just a better team. I rode with the better quarterback. Michael Penix definitely still the better quarterback, but Michigan all around. John, I don't want to mess it up. John's coach of Michigan. I always mix them up. Or Jim.
Yeah, John Harbaugh's Michigan, Jim's
Yeah,
Ravens.
John. He
No.
got his-
I just
Yeah, I
flipped
thought
it
it
up.
was backwards. I thought it was backwards.
John is the Ravens. Jim is Michigan.
Jim got his flowers finally. He deserves it. Michigan finally got the job done. They got past that first round. Probably shouldn't have gotten past that first round against Bama. Big fourth quarter drive with 6 minutes left to tie the game up, and then they obviously won it in overtime. But Michigan finally gets there. Blake Corum, hell of a year. You're gonna see him with the star on his helmet next year. But
You
no,
think?
Michigan just I don't know. Every Dallas fan is hoping for it with the way Tony Pollard played this year. But Michigan deserves
That'd
it.
be cool.
Defense stepped up. JJ McCarthy played pretty well as well. He did what he needed to do. They're the best team in the country, so give them their flowers.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely look like the better team. From start to finish, things got, I think it was 17-3 to start. They let Washington claw back and make it 17-10 at halftime, and Michigan didn't look back. I mean, Donovan Edwards had a dominant performance to start that first half off with 2 of the longest touchdown runs in college football playoff history. Obviously, number one was Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry.
Back so many years ago. I think it was a 68-yarder, and we saw Donovan Edwards go for a 48 and a 41 in the first half, and then Corum kind of just did what he did all season in the second half, and Michigan just iced that game with their run game. Exactly. I mean, the two running backs were just too much for Washington to handle. Washington couldn't stop the run all season, and why go away from it if you're Michigan.
Yeah, both touchdowns by Donovan Edwards were just he bounced off the line, and then he was like, "Holy shit! There's 50 yards of free field right in front of me." Washington defense definitely. I mean, they were shook. They had to be shook. They did not come out to play. They kind of settled in once it was 17-3, but at that point, you're already playing from behind.
You're already.
But that pass to Odunze, I think it was Odunze, the 4th and 7 from the 50-yard line, right over his head, would have made it 17-10. Washington ended up going down and scoring the next drive anyway, so they would have made it a 17-17 game. You think they would have mattered at all, or you think Michigan still would have taken off?
I don't know. The turnovers that Phoenix had throughout the game, what did he have, 1 or 2 picks? 2?
I know.
I think 2.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so it was the first one that was big. They needed points on that drive.
Is it the one on the sideline?
Yeah, they were getting down there, and he threw the pick, and I'm like, that's it. Michigan gets points on this drive. This game's over. And that's exactly what happened.
Because he threw
and that was Corum's first touchdown.
He threw the one at the end of the game, and he threw the one on the sideline where you were like, how the hell did that guy stay in?
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was doing whatever he could. He was getting pressure in his face. That Washington team wasn't built
he
for a
had to.
national
He didn't really have many other options. They couldn't run the ball.
He was literally the only reason they were there. And he had a hell of a season. He got beat the fuck up in that championship game. I don't even know why he was still
playing. See him walking off the field? Like, he looked like he was dead.
The last 2 drives of the game, every single time he got hit, he looked like his ribs are broken. I wouldn't be surprised if they are. But hell of a season.
You won't hear that with the NFL draft coming up.
No, that'll be all swept under the rug. A hell of a career for Michael Penix. I think he didn't go out sad. He definitely went out with a Heisman candidate and a national championship appearance. So good for him. Hopefully he has an NFL career as well.
Yeah. Hell of a national title game. Good to see 2 new teams get in it, new team win it. Definitely not the biggest Michigan guy or a Michigan guy at all, but definitely cool to see someone else other than one of the big dogs win it.
Now we get into the 12 team.
Yeah.
It's time. Whole new format for next year. It'll be a real exciting one to talk about for sure, and we'll get to that when it comes. Let's move over here to the college basketball world. College basketball continues to heat up as we move into conference play. We saw Nebraska take down Purdue, Iowa State take down Houston, and many more upsets throughout the week. Let's look ahead at some of the top matchups this week here. Thursday, we have Michigan State heading to Illinois to play them. On Saturday, we have Tennessee and Georgia in Georgia. Also on Saturday, we have Syracuse and UNC and Oklahoma and Kansas all on Saturday there. What are you guys thinking about these matchups here coming up? Huff, do you want any odds for these?
No. So you might not even be able to really find some of them, with some of them being Saturday, but some big games to keep our eye on throughout the week. Obviously, we're on fire in the world of college basketball. I think our records listed right there is we're 45, 27, and 3, 16.24 units on the season.
All 1 unit plays too. You see all these cappers posting 3-4 unit plays. Oh, I'm up 40 units, but I'm 6 games over 500. Posting 1 unit plays up 16.5 units.
Yeah.
Think about that.
We might have do we have any 2U plays mixed in?
No, we played Nebraska, but we only played it for one unit, I think.
Yeah, that was it. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, we're on fire in the world of college basketball. Some great games this weekend. Obviously, like we said, the Oklahoma, Texas, Syracuse, UNC, or Oklahoma, Kansas, Syracuse, UNC. There's going to be some great matchups. Saturday is a full slate. So definitely going to be excited to get into that. Make sure you're staying tuned to the social media card as we get our plays out as early as possible so you can get that best line, best price, and ride the action with us throughout the day for college basketball. Got a couple plays going tonight as well. I believe 5 to be exact. You'll already be listening to this. Those plays will already be over. So in the meantime, make sure you're turning on our post notifications so you're not missing any plays, whether that be college basketball. Now that college football is over, so college basketball, NBA, NHL. We got the NFL playoffs coming up, but other than that, I think that's going to basically do it. Mackie, did you have anything else you wanted to add in college basketball? I just kind of wanted to highlight some of those games this weekend and kind of shout out, make sure everyone's kind of riding along with the plays because we're absolutely killing it right now.
No, yeah, we'll definitely have a few plays on Saturday. I have a full slate. We'll see some more plays this week. 15, 6, and 2 in our last 23. It's a 71.4% clip. You can't make those numbers up. I'm not gonna lie. It's just insane. If
Dude,
we
when
can
you
keep
sent me
that,
that record last night, I was like, "Holy shit!" Anytime it starts with a 7, you're like, "Let's go."
71%. Nobody's doing that. I can promise you that. So if we can keep that one up, I mean, it's just video game numbers. But I would hop on now. We've been pretty hot.
Tonight's a big night. 5 plays.
All
Dude, I
right,
don't
St.
even know
John.
college basketball. I just blindly tail these boys, and they hit it over 70%. I'm like, thank you. Yep, there we are. Yep, I don't even know
St.
what's
John's
going on.
up early, up 11 early, so hopefully they can hold on. We have minus
Oh
seven and a
shit, St.
half.
John started already? I thought they were all 7 o'clock.
Yeah, no, it's at the Garden too.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah, love that. All right, Huff said it. That's pretty much all we got here this week. Like Huff kept saying, check out our live stream and our picks that we release this week. Live stream 10 a.m. on Sunday, YouTube and Rumble. Lots of good stuff to look forward to this week in the NFL. Alabama loses recruit Warren Williams. He
You're gonna
decommits.
see a lot of
Yeah.
that. Alabama loses 5-star wide receiver, so with Saban going,
Def-
you're gonna see a lot of that. But
Definitely gonna have to touch more on
He's
that
going to
stuff as the
Georgia.
weeks come.
he's going to Georgia.
Or
That's all.
LSU. This is gonna be the rise of LSU again. I already texted my cousin. That's what he said. He's like, my dad's hyped because his dad's a LSU alumni. So yeah, I think obviously SEC with the new conferences, 12-team college football playoff next year. Saban retiring is gonna make things interesting.
I'll tell you what, you can get really good odds in those lower teams too that can sneak in. I know my buddy took Ole Miss plus 2,500 or something because it's 12 team now. I mean, you could sneak in, win a few games. You're in the national
I was looking at that.
championship.
I was looking at that too. Like usually the 7th or 8th team was plus 5,000 because they really can't even get
This
in.
is not
You know what I mean?
exactly top 14 is top 14. So now you can have out of conference. You can have non-power 5
like
teams
betting-
almost in.
It's really like betting a 5 seed in the NFL to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it's college football, so you never know.
Yeah, it's gonna do it. Thanks for listening. See you guys next week. Live stream Sunday for the wild card games. We'll go through those 3 games. Is that how we're gonna do that?
Yep.
Live stream on Sunday for the 3 wild card games and the Monday night Eagles Bucks game. Other than that, we'll see you guys then. And stay tuned next week for our divisional round episode. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Playoffs.
Let's go Steelers, baby. Steelers.